Thank you for joining me for common fitting adjustments for the Carpe Diem dress. We're looking right now at the sleeveless side, whether it is totally sleeveless or it has the little cap sleeve added in. You will need to pay attention to how that sleeveless armhole fits into the front and the back of your Carpe Diem dress. And so if you were to end up fitting your dress and feeling like you had too much either here in the front or the back, she has a little bit of extra, you will want to perhaps adjust the top of the sleeveless side panel, whether it's a flared side or the straight side, depending on the way your hips come in to the rest of your body. So you'll want to think about how you're going to do that. And if you take too much out of this sleeveless armhole, so if your front was fine, but you had too much in here, and you decided you were going to just pull it over like this, you can see what happens. All of a sudden, you don't have that complete armhole. You've lost the curve in there that gives you the right shaping for this sleeveless armhole to look graceful on the body. And so what you really want to do is, instead of just taking off those sides, which you might do on the mock-up, just to make sure the fit is improved. But on the pattern, you might want to actually go down a size on that sleeveless mock-up, that sleeveless side panel, so that you still get this pretty curve here in the armhole. And I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to look at the graded pattern and see how easy it is. You will want to make sure that you have a curved ruler, like the So Successfully Curved ruler, to help you get a nice shaping as you move from one size to the other. That is always a very useful tool as you are making your pattern adjustments. So take a look. Don't forget, if you do this adjustment, you'll also want to adjust the armhole facing so that you have a smooth look in both side panels. It just looks like it belongs perfectly there on your body. We're going to look at the sleeveless side here, and I'm going to actually turn it this way so you can look at it. It goes all the way, of course, down to dress length, but here you can see, if you're familiar with our patterns, that this is where the basic top would have stopped. 5/8 inch above that is where our basic side panel would have stopped, and you can see that this is shaped a little bit in both the front and the back to get you a nice coverage in the armhole. So the thing is that you need to be able to adjust this if you are narrow at the top but fuller in the hips. And we're just going to look here between the 3XL and the 2XL, which we have here. The 3XL, 2XL, forgive me, is this line right here, and the XL is the yellow dotted line. This is a sort of solid dark red line, and you can see how that 3XL line comes up, over, around, and out and down. So if you're narrow in the top and fuller in the hips, you probably will have too much up here if you cut the 2XL. If you need to go down, though, to the XL, you won't have enough fabric in there because of how meticulously this has been drafted to give you the seam allowance, which will come right into the side seam. We have a small curve here, and so we have to be careful. So you would want to make this adjustment in advance of making your mock-up, or certainly if you find you have too much in that underarm, it's too full, you would want to make this adjustment, but you would need to go back to the master pattern and go down to the side that will fit your underarm better. And so if we were going to move between these two sizes, we would want the XL here, say in this one, and then we would want to scooch out after we got down into the waist and then the hips, depending on your shape, and ease it into that side. We did this with just the basic side panel, but the sleeveless side panel has quite a lot of issues when you're working with it. So we need to, of course, find a way to do this where we are, and we're going to start below this dot. We're going to presume that above that dot, which is just below the bust, you are in a good shape, in a good place to be, to have the extra large, and then we're going to move ourselves out to the 3XL. And once again, we're going to start just a little bit to get ourselves moving away from that curve. There's that little bit of curve that creates the waist. We're going to presume that the person wearing this has pinned out up here in the top, but not necessarily down here in the bottom. And then we're going to try to find a line that allows us to ease into the into that larger size as we get down here further. And this one actually doesn't look too bad. Let's flip it the other way. So we're getting a little bit less, and that's good. We're always, of course, looking for a line that will blend. And so we are going to, I'm actually going to shift the pattern up here so you can watch me blend down here towards the bottom. We have a very small amount connecting to the original line, and then we're going to scooch ourselves up here into the 3XL. That gives us a nice smooth line, and then we would want to do it, this is the back, we would also want to do that in the front, knowing that we need this line up here to come in and around so that we have enough fabric to actually resolve the sleeveless panel into the back. So once again, we're going to start right here, and we're going to blend and then scooch ourselves out here ever so slightly. We still have a little bit of a waist we're accommodating there, and then we're going to flip the ruler around and use it here to come down into the, so that we have now gone from the XL, eliminating almost 3/4 of an inch on each side, which if that top side panel was too loose on you, that would give you a much better fit. Now when you do this, you of course also have to do the same thing on the facing, but we're going to just use the extra large facing because we have not adjusted the pattern up here. We can just choose the extra large facing and trace it off or trim this off so that you have the extra large facing. You see, I haven't cut this close because each of these facing lines is stacked in a different way. So once you know what size you need, you can actually easily cut that down and use it. So when you are moving from side to side, if you needed even to come in a little bit more, you could do that. You could come all the way in to the large, which is the green dots. You would just have to use that curved ruler to find a pretty line that would allow you to do that. So this is finessing that sleeveless side so that you get a nice fit in the underarm, so that you're not, people aren't seeing things they shouldn't necessarily see, and the garment is sitting nicely on you in the underarm where you have the sleeveless side coming into place. Thank you so much for watching this video about switching sizes between in the side panel, shaping up that side panel so that it fits better, but instead of just taking off the sides, shifting down to a smaller size so that you continue to get the beautiful curved area at the top of the underarm that makes this armhole fit particularly nicely. So good luck with your pattern work. If you need this adjustment, I hope you will take the time to try it out and see how it works for you. Happy pattern work and happy sewing.